Hello, and welcome to the Soundodger 2 editor tutorials. This first part is going to be about setting up your file. So once you click the editor button from the title screen, you will be greeted with this welcome screen. We're going to start by clicking on New Project. And here, the only things you need to fill in order to create it are these 5 things here. The location of the file, the music file itself, your title and artist, and a name for this XML that you're going to be working in. So first, our project location. By default is document Soundodger 2 in levels, and here's where all your projects will live. You can also pick anywhere you want and set that up in the user levels screen as well. So we're just going to pick this default one. And for our music file, you can pick any music file you want, such as an MP3, a WAV, or an OGG. I highly recommend OGG because they work the best for this platform that we're working on. The other ones do work, but they each have their caveats for why I would not recommend them. So you can grab those from anywhere. I just have these conveniently right here. Bean 17 and something, a little song by myself. And once you pick that, keep in mind that it doesn't actually grab that file or reference it anymore. It actually makes a copy of that music file and puts it into the project folder. Same thing for if we were to choose album art here. Any square album art, here I have one already ready to go, a bullet with a 2. So any PNG, JPEG will work. You can open it up and that'll be your thumbnail when you're doing your level select. So again, the album art is going to be copied over as well as the music file. So those will just still exist where they originally were. For the title, of course, the song is called 17 and something. The artist is me. Artist website, you can put anything you want right now. I don't know, onemrbean.com. Go ahead and find all that stuff. The creator is your name. I just happen to be both the musician and the creator. This will actually autofill based on the last thing that you typed in. So if you call yourself something now and then you create a new project and you go and create a new project later on, this will autofill because it assumes it's the same person making each level. So that saves you a couple seconds there. Level notes is if you want to tell something to players. Currently, not all of this stuff is implemented in the game yet, but this will be displayed eventually for players. If you want to lock your levels as some type of level pack for people to play other things and unlock things as they keep going, there are 2 different places to lock. First, you can lock the entire project, which includes all versions of difficulty. So the easy version, the normal version, the challenge, whatever you have, those will all be locked, and you'll have to do things in other levels, other songs somewhere else in that folder to unlock them. So by default, it's none, but you can change that to say what is required. So they would need to have a certain grade, an S plus or a B on the other levels, and how many would they need? Maybe they need 2 Bs on other levels. So hopefully you have 2 other levels for them to get those Bs. Otherwise, they're never going to be able to unlock this. The other ones, hearts and percent, don't use this one here. So you would need 5 hearts collected, or you would need to get a certain percentage. So you would need to get 200%, which is kind of like beating 2 songs with a perfect score of 100. So that's how those work. The level info is just for this one difficulty that you're working on. So the working name is strictly just for you. You can call it whatever you want, but just keep in mind that everything is listed alphabetically when you're selecting them in user select. So if you want to make sure that they're displayed, you can just put an O1 at the beginning or whatever, and that'll make sure that they're numbered in order. The same locking rules they apply here for levels as well. So if you want to have a specific difficulty within a project be locked and you have to play the other single difficulties in that same song, you can do that first. So maybe you need to get an S plus on the easy version, and then you'll unlock this one. So that's how you would do that. The difficulty has a whole bunch of options here. You can do easy, normal, advanced, difficult, impossible, or challenge, and those will be displayed, and they're kind of in order. Challenge can be whatever. I mean, that's kind of up to your interpretation. The interesting one is custom up here, where you can type in anything you want, and that will be the name of the difficulty when you're selecting it. The only reason why you would pick easy through challenge here is because these will eventually get translated into other languages for other players, and custom obviously cannot get translated. So that's it for that. We're going to put that on advanced now. We'll do normal for now. And you can always change most of these things later on. You'll see these are locked out for now because we haven't made our level. But once you have just these 5 things, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, then this Create New Project button will be available. You can click that and you'll be greeted with a brand new bunch of nothing. So you can see we have our name here, bean17 something, and then here is the file that we're working in, that working name. And the first thing I recommend you always do is be sure to set the BPM, because then you'll be able to do grid snapping and your life will be a whole lot easier. So you can press spacebar to pause and play. And you can also right click with any tool that you have and you'll change where the playhead is. So I'm going to go somewhere where there's a beat and we can listen to the music and start tapping to the beat. So I'll move here with a right click, I'll hit spacebar. We have a really solid beat there, so I'm going to start tapping. Okay, so that's enough information there. I can see it's definitely 125, and the offset says it's 0.028. That's probably so close to 0, it probably is actually 0. You can see with the mouse wheel, you can zoom in and see that the grid lines are actually matching up pretty well. I'm pretty sure this is 0 because I made the song myself. So I'm going to hit 0 and hit set, and then they're kind of matched up perfectly there. Cool, and you'll notice that when the song is playing, this is a tap button, so if I hit spacebar, this says tap, and you can't change these. When the song is paused, you can actually type in your own custom amounts and just click set, and then they'll be good to go. So that grid is very important, just get that out of the way early, and so now you'll be able to snap things later. But let's just continue going back to settings up here, and we will be sure to take a look at the other two tabs. So the first one you have is the gameplay tab that we didn't have available before. And default is 4. You can change the number of enemies to any amount. Well, 0 makes no sense. You won't have anything to do. But you can have 1 enemy. You can have, now we support up to 64. You know, it's whatever you want to do. You can change this later on as well, but keep in mind that the more you do in the beginning of setting up your level, the less work you'll have to do later to fix other things. Challenges are things that change the entirety of the level, so it's something that is consistent throughout the whole thing. So we have clone types here. Mirror you might have seen in the demo, so you can see in the background. We have our player and we have a mirror that does exactly what it does. You can change the number of mirrors pretty easily and have a whole bunch of different types of challenges and ways of designing levels. You can have 8, that's kind of ridiculous. So anyway, that's mirror. Trail does the same thing, except now this thing follows you, and it follows you with time in effect. So if you stop moving, it'll stop moving as well. And if you have all of these, then they're all kind of following you. So that's pretty fun. Movement, there's a whole bunch of different options. Right now, you are just a ball moving inside of an arena. If you change it to, let's see, wrap, you can actually kind of do a screen wrap. So go from edge to edge and warp. Horizontal, you're stuck on the horizontal axis no matter what you do, so you can only do that. Vertical is the same idea, but you're stuck vertically. Progress, you're actually stuck inside of the progress ring, which is interesting. So if I zoom out all the way, you'll see the progress ring grows with the song. So at the beginning of the song, you're locked here, and as the song keeps going, you're kind of stuck inside of that progress ring, and you can only move to the confines of that. Inside and outside are very similar to progress, except for inside, you are in fact stuck inside of, did I pick the right one? For inside, you are stuck inside of the arena, the progress ring, and so you can't get out until that goes. So you have a little bit more freedom of movement as the song keeps going, and then the inverse is for when you're outside. So then you're stuck on the outside, and as the song keeps going, you get more and more claustrophobic towards the edge. And the last one here is the player size. You're set at 1.0. This is just a multiplier, so if you go down to 0.5, you'll see you're half your size. If you go to 2, you're 2 times the size. You can become very large, and I don't know what kind of level you're going to make with that. Have fun with that. And that's about it for changing gameplay. The last tab is visuals. So first we have our backgrounds. This is our classic Soundodger Plus background. We have a whole bunch of new ones, and even more are going to be coming as we keep going. Tessellation, we have trees, which are hard to see, but that's because everything's gray right now. We have clouds, and there's the clouds. Echo doesn't actually render anything behind, so as bullets and particles go, they'll fill up the whole background and not leave. And then none is just a solid color of just whatever color you want. So we'll go to test because that one looks pretty fun. And the last thing we're actually going to look at is setting all of our colors. So you can change this anytime you want. If you change your mind at the very end, you can just edit colors and just change every single bullet in one shot. But for right now, it's nice to just get a mood in play. If you don't have a mood, maybe you can make your whole level first and then come here and start working on your colors to kind of capture what you're looking for. But for now, this is how Edit Colors works. The first 5 parts are for just the environment, not the bullets, so we can change our background to whatever we want. BG1 is kind of your main color, and BG2 is your accent color, and so we can make those kind of whatever we want there. Your outline is not only the arena, but also the bullets, or you the player, the progress ring, and around the enemies as well. So we can kind of do that. The floor is the floor of the arena. That can be any color you want, and now you have an additional slider that wasn't there before. This one's actually for opacity, so you can actually make it semi-transparent and do whatever you want for that. Same thing goes for the score. The score is at first opaque, but you can change that opacity and turn it down however you want. There we go. And that's that for the arena. And now for the bullets, we have a whole bunch of bullets here, and you can change those to whatever you want. You can paste in hex colors from another website or from Photoshop or something. Obviously, you can just keep doing your color picking. If you want to quickly copy and paste, you can actually right-click to copy it, and you can middle-click somewhere else and paste them, so you can very quickly do that. And the last thing, which we'll get into later of how we'll use it, but for now you see these little pluses. You can actually add additional colors for each bullet, and every bullet can have up to 4 different colors. So for arrow, we'll make an orange one, and we'll make, let's see here, make a green one, and we'll do a really dark gray one. Okay, so we have lots of different bullets, and that's just for different patterns that you're using in the actual game to differentiate different things for the player to look at. And so these numbers up here are just a quick way to switch between. So let's just say, for example, I had a whole bunch of colors here, and you wanted to have each one themed. So all the ones would be like happy, these ones would be scary, these ones would be interest, whatever. So you can quickly jump between all of them, and that's all these buttons do, is just allow you to quickly jump between for previewing, so you can kind of see what the rings would look like. And you can also see the colors update here as you go. So I don't want extra homings or bubbles, we'll just leave it right there. The last 2 things you can do are turn the arena glow on and off. That is much easier to see if it's dark. So you can see the arena glow is pretty strong there. And then solid bullets allows you to actually make the bullets completely solid without that little highlight on them. So it's harder to see them rotate, but that's good for other types of moods you're going for. And that's about it for the setting up of your level. Make sure to hit save when you are done doing anything, because the game currently does not autosave. And even if you do changes here or anywhere else, you need to click save. So click save, and then I just want to show you that once you have clicked save for the first time, it will actually create this. So in my Soundodger 2 levels folder, you can see I now have a new folder called Bean 17 and something, which was created by making this project. And you'll see it starts with a left and right bracket. Do not ever change that. That is how the game knows that this is a Soundodger 2 level and not just a folder containing other stuff. So if you look inside, you'll see it has already populated. So it copied over the music and just renamed it to music. It copied over that artwork and just called it thumb. We have the file, which I had a working name of main. That's right there, and you can see that contains a whole bunch of stuff here. All the header stuff that we worked with, there's all of our colors and hex and things like that. And lastly, we have a header, which is information that will be consistent across multiple difficulties. So if you had a main, a challenge, an easy, a hard, the header will be the same information for all of them. And so that's the title and artist, those don't change. The URL of the musician doesn't change. The length of the song is there. The BPM that you set is also there. So that's just what is going on there. You don't really need to touch header if you don't want to. And I'll show you one more thing. And that's if, let's say you want to make a copy of this level, like a hard or an easy version using all of the same bullets you've already put down here. Or you just want to make some weird change and you want to make like a copy, like 2 or 3, right? Like in Photoshop, you know, copy 1, copy 2. All you have to do is go to settings and change the working name and then save. So I'll just call it main B. This is my B version that I'm going to do. So you can see already it says main B up here, and all I do is click save. And if I go back to here, you'll see that main B is now there as well. So you can have multiple versions going there. If you clicked exit, you'll actually be taken back to the title screen, but if you hold shift, all of these buttons up top will change. Options will take you to the game options, so you can change whatever you want to change here. You can see Shift lets me reload instead of just load. So if I just made some errors and I screwed something up and I don't want to click save, I can just hit Shift, reload, and it'll reload the level as it was. Light save, don't worry about that. We'll talk about that another time. And then lastly, exit becomes close. So if I click just close, you'll see it takes us back to the welcome screen for the editor. And you'll see now that last edited level is clickable, and it tells me my last level that I worked on was bean 17 and something, and that was main, so I'm going to click that. And then it loads up. So that's it for setting up your first level in Soundodger 2. Tune in for the next part when we're going to be talking about bullets.